Hi.
Oh, it's Detective Martin.
Yes, Detective Martin. This is returning your call.
Yes, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
I said, yes, ma'am. How are you doing?
I just try not to think about it.
Okay. So let me ask a couple questions from you before we get started.
Can you just hang on a minute? Let me see if I can get you to talk louder because I sure can't hear you. Hold on.
Nobody else is
Okay, I've got my phone up as high as it'll go. Let's try it now.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay. So what's a good address for you? And what were you wearing on this date?
Oh, gosh.
If you can't remember, that's okay.
I was going to say, I'm sorry. I either had on jeans and a shirt or slacks and a shirt. I don't honestly remember which one.
That's okay. Okay, we can get started with the interview if you want.
Okay. I have to be at work at 12.
It's not gonna take long. It'll only take,
Oh, okay.
as long as whatever you have to tell me is as long as it'll take.
Okay.
You can start at any point.
I don't have much, but I'll tell you what I saw and heard.
Okay, you can go ahead and start from whatever point you'd like.
Okay. I work in the office. I was in there by myself. I heard all kinds of yelling. Honestly, at first, because I couldn't really understand, they were saying, I thought there was a problem with, like, two customers' dogs, because she kept screaming about, I kept hearing them scream something about my dog. And I now know that she wanted a dog. I got up. We've got, like, a glass case between the office and the lobby. And I got up and stood back, to where I could, like, look out and see what was going on. I could still hear a lot of shouting and screaming. I could see that there were people. It looked like they were trying to get the customers that I could not see because of the walling that's there out of the building. Don't know who was involved because I couldn't tell. The screaming got so loud, I just figured better safe than sorry. At 6:27 p.m., I looked at my phone to check what time. I called 911. They transferred me to Shively, and I told them that there was a loud confrontation happening, and then I felt like that the police should be sent. Then I stood there pacing and listening to the screaming. And all of a sudden, I heard a shot. So I looked at my phone when I got off. It was 6:30. At 6:30, I called Shively back. The lady answered. I told her I had just talked to her and that I had heard a shot. I didn't know if anybody was hurt, but that I think an ambulance needed to be sent, and she said it was already on its way. So I don't know. I'm assuming that numerous people throughout the building, probably customers and employees both, must have been calling. I really don't know. As soon as I stayed away from the lobby area until I heard the first police car, you could hear it screaming into the parking lot. And then I come a little bit closer. I did not know who was on the ground because by then whoever been shot was now in the lobby. Or not in the lobby. It would be the checkout area. Was in the checkout area. Didn't go close because, as it turns out, one of the girls that was helping him had at one time, was an EMT, and so she was trying to keep him calm, and he was surrounded by, I think his mother was there and a couple other coworkers. And anyway, they were doing the best they could, and I just stayed back out of the way. didn't know at that time who it was. And I I started feeling not, good myself, and so I went back to sit down in the office, and I was back there when I found out that it was, we call him TJ, and that he had been shot. He was on his way to the hospital, and I pretty much stayed in the office after that. Different people come in, we were all shook up. We were all, distraught. I didn't see anything more than that. And like I said, I told several of our coworkers on Monday, I said, I'll tell you right now, the first time I hear raised voices again, I am not waiting. I'm calling for you all to come, because I just feel like this was a tragedy. And if some of the things I've heard is true, that woman had every opportunity to just leave, but instead she killed a young man. Now, I realize that's just strictly my opinion based on what I have heard since then. But regardless, he's gone. We're still getting over the shock of it, and it'll take a while.
Yeah.
All my years, I never dreamed that I would be someplace where someone would get shot.
Yeah, and I understand that it's hard to, retell, everything that you heard or saw or whatever, and I appreciate you, talking to me. I do have a couple questions.
I wish I could tell you more. I wish I'd seen the whole thing so I could tell you everything I saw, but
that's okay.
Mostly what I saw was a lot of screaming and what appeared to be an effort being made to get them to go out of the building. I know that I also heard others talk about how, some were directed to lock doors and outside doors and stuff when, I guess when evidently somebody, I didn't hear it, but somebody evidently said something about gun. And so, they, and maybe they'd already done that before then. Like I said, I didn't see what actually happened to him. I just heard the gunshot and called back to Shively.
Okay.
And you all, I do want to thank you all for your response time, for your courtesy to us. Excellent set of police officers that responded. They were wonderful to us. So, anyway, we appreciate what you do for our community.
Well, it's no problem. Thank you very much for the kind words. I do have a couple questions.
Okay.
I just want to make sure I have what you're telling me accurate. You said that you didn't actually see any of the altercation. You only heard screaming and everything, and you didn't see anything until after.
I saw what appeared to be pushing, only because the hands were outward stretched, but I couldn't even tell who they were. I mean, I couldn't. I mean, I would just be guessing if I said, and I won't do that. But,
when was it that you saw the pushing?
I could. That's it. See, there's the area where you check out, and then there's like a partial wall, and there's a hole in the wall. I mean, it's designed that way, with a window or whatever you want to call it. No glass in or anything in the checkout area. What I could see was someone with outstretched arms pushed, held out as it towards the exit door. But because of the way that's designed, I couldn't see the person that his hands were raised towards.
Yeah.
So, I don't know who it was. I don't know why he had his hands outreached. I am 99% sure that it was a guy simply because it looked like a haircut.
Okay.
It wasn't like long hair like a woman or anything. But I don't know who it was, and I don't know why he had his hands stretched out, both hands stretched out towards the exit door. I don't know. And then, like I said, I had already turned around to go sit at my desk, and that's when I heard the shot. And I called Shively immediately.
So you said that you were back in the office and you could hear the screaming about the dog, and you said you looked out to see what was going on. You could still hear shouting and screaming. Is that when you saw the pushing?
Oh, yes, I could still hear the shouting and screaming became I know this sounds strange, but the shouting and screaming you heard before the shot was one type of shouting and screaming. The shouting and screaming after the shot was it had a different level to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I'm just trying to clarify. So when you said you looked out, is that when you saw the pushing happening?
Well, like I said, all I saw was he was standing there with his arms totally stretched out, hands, like palms towards the front of the door.
Okay.
I don't know. I could see his arms. I could see his hands. I don't know if like when you could be motioning to somebody, get out, get out, get out. That would be the same way.
Yeah.
But I don't know because I couldn't see like who was on the other side of where he was because of the way that entrance thing or whatever you call it blocked my view. I had a limited view. I just know there was a guy there. He had his arms outreached. And why he was doing what he was doing with the outreached arms and hands, I don't know. I don't know if he was trying to get them out. I don't know if he actually was making contact with the person because that part I couldn't see.
Okay.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm just typing what you're telling me.
Okay. My phone drops calls, so. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
Is there anything that I didn't ask that you think that I should know about, or?
No, I mean, like I said, I was not looking at the law. I was not looking at that window. It's a glass case that holds figurines in. So
Okay.
I wasn't looking out there when I heard the shot, but I knew it was a shot. Don't know why I knew it was a shot, but I immediately called back to Shively, and like I said, I checked my phone later that evening when my sister was talking to me, and I called the first time at 6:27. I called the second time at 6:30. You all were there. I mean, you feel like everything was like in slow motion, but I know it wasn't. I know you all got there very quickly. And other than that, just them ministering on the floor, and like I said, at that time, I didn't know who it was.
Okay. Well, if you think of anything else at a later date or sometime, later or whatever that you think I should know, just feel free to give us a call back, and I'll be happy to listen to what you have to say, okay?
Okay, I appreciate it.
All right, no problem.
Take care out there.
Thank you. You have a good day.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.